Thank you for stopping by. My channel is about health, wellness, and eco-friendly living. If this is your first time here, welcome. I drop videos every Mondays, so you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button. The video today is about lupus. If you're living with a chronic illness, then you know all about the challenges associated with living with a condition that will never be cured. Your condition at this point becomes an entire lifestyle because it is going to be a part of, the rest of your stay here on Earth. So when you're living with a condition that doesn't have a cure, you have to, at some point, make the adjustment from managing your symptoms to creating a lifestyle that is harmonious with your condition. So we're now transitioning out of what do I need to do so that my symptoms are, less intense, to what do I need to do so I can create a life that is still full of joy, that is still full of heart, that is still full of passion, knowing that I have this condition. What can I do to proactively manage my condition so that symptoms do not deteriorate? For me, the biggest change in terms of my well-being came about once I decided to take lupus as a lifestyle. Meaning, once I decided that I needed to create a new version of myself, a version of myself that centered lupus in my life. So in this new version, everything that I do is to make my lupus more manageable. Everything that I do is to prevent my lupus from deteriorating. So I don't wait for me to get worse to do things. I do things to prevent my disease from getting worse. Do you know what I mean? So it's more of a lifestyle and less of a responding to situations. So even when I'm feeling great, I'm still doing those same things. And when I'm not feeling great, of course, I amp up some of the good feel things that I normally do, such as my concoction that I created that actually helps kind of wean off symptoms whenever I'm about to have a flare, which for those of you who are new here, I'm going to go ahead and attach that video here. So whenever I feel like I'm about to have a flare, I make this mixture, I drink it, and the next day I'm like, good, like as if nothing ever happened. If it's like one of those intense ones, I may do it 2 days in a row, but generally it's not something that, isn't able to get me back on track. So there are certain like habits that I have for extreme situations, but generally there's some routine things that I do, even when I feel like I'm on top of the world, so that I can make sure that I stay that way, which is balanced. So last week I created something unusual, for you guys. I'm sure some of you guys are like, oh, what is this? For those of you who are not into a meditation lifestyle, this probably felt weird. And if you don't know what I'm referencing 100 affirmations for basically grounding yourself for your root chakra. So these were root chakra affirmations. And I'm going to attach that video here for those of you who haven't seen it. So I am trying to kind of invite you step by step into some of my spiritual, emotional, psychological processes that have really helped me manage my lupus better than I was before. A lot of what used to trigger my lupus was stress related. As far as stress, like a lot of this is like my DNA. You could blame it on my Virgo Mars or you could blame it on my bloodline, but it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. It's a part of life. There used to be a time when stress actually excited me because as an overachiever, it's like my juice, like it juices me up and it turns me up. It makes me actually like work better, work faster, and be even better than I thought I could be. Like stress literally like excites me. It gets me going. So there used to be a time when it got me going. But then after I got lupus, it's like the engine slowed down a bit. So I had to modulate the stress level. I could no longer just let it run rampant because it didn't always juice me up. Sometimes it just caused me to go into a flare. So now I know what is my capacity for stress management. And one of the major things that have helped me with that has been meditation. I've known about meditation for a long time. In fact, I discovered it around the same time that I discovered yoga and astrology. And that was back in 2002, 2003. It all just kind of came together at the same time for me. So a lot of these practices are old, but I haven't always been like diligent about like having a ritual and sticking to it and making sure that I'm prioritizing my emotional well-being and my mental health, and that I'm prioritizing my meditation habit, and that I'm aware of my energy and all of my chakras and how balanced I feel. And since lupus, a lot of that has taken precedent. So I am now more emotionally, spiritually, intellectually aware than I was before. And for those of you who are not into meditation, I am making this video to encourage you to consider it. Now, it may not be for you, but it could very well be for you. And if you've never tried it, you won't know until you give it a shot. A lot of people think that meditation is about quieting your mind, and I'm here to let you know that it's not about that. You know, your mind is never going to be quiet. It's not supposed to be quiet. You know, meditation is not about quieting the mind. Meditation is about bringing awareness to what's happening in the mind. It's actually paying attention to what is going on in the mind. Some people take the approach of paying attention to every thought that they have while they're sitting still, just to increase their awareness about the thoughts that they're obsessing about or the issues that are preoccupying them that they may not be aware of in their conscious, walking, busy life. And then other people, their approach is more about tuning into a thought and eliminating every other thought except that thought. So, as an example, some people do a mantra meditation where they want to fixate on just one mantra. So, as an example, in line with the root chakra affirmations that I just made, one of the statements from root chakra meditation or affirmation is, I am strong, I'm powerful. That the root chakra is our foundation chakra in terms of the energy healing work. And it's the essence of our stability. So a lot of times when people are riddled with fear or anxiety, they don't feel safe. They don't feel safe in their bodies. They don't feel safe in life. They don't feel safe wherever they are. And they are also easily influenced by outside factors. So those people, for instance, could be having an amazing day, and then something happens outside that isn't so amazing, then all of a sudden their entire day is not amazing anymore. Or they could be having an amazing day and they start talking to a friend who's going through a tough time. All of a sudden they carry that with them the entire day. So people who have a healthy and healed root chakra tend to feel stable in their lives, and they tend to have a barrier, a wall, if you will, that separates their energy from everybody else's energy. And it's not that they don't feel other people's energies, it's that they know how to protect their energy and they understand how deeply rooted they are in themselves. And that grounding that they have in themselves allows them to be intentional about their intentions, intentional about where they put their energy, intentional about how they live their lives. And it's all about them being the master of their destiny, which is very different from somebody who allows any and everything to just move them from side to side. So we think about it like a tree that is firmly planted. The deeper the roots, the stronger the trunk, the stronger the tree. There's some trees that live to be 500 years old. We have so much more to learn from nature. You and I, we're never going to live to be 500 years old. But there are trees that have lived longer than us. And there are trees that weather worse situations than us. Think about it. During the wintertime, -0 degrees, guess who's outside without a coat? Our trees, our friends. The trees, they're outside without any protection. And every spring, they come right back up as if nothing had happened. Because when it is cold, they know how to self-preserve. And when it gets to be too hot, they also know how to self-preserve. So just like trees that are deeply rooted, we want to be deeply rooted in ourselves so that no matter what we're going through, we know who we are, we feel good about who we are, and we inherently know that we have agency in our lives. And a lot of that comes from being able to have some mastery over your energy and your energetic field so that you decide how your energy is spent. You decide what energies come in, what energies are kept out, and you're in complete domination and control of your energetic space. That is what the root chakra is about. So those affirmations were a way for me to start that conversation with you because I want to invite you more and more into that space. Honest to God, doing a psychological shift, an energetic shift, emotional shift has been a huge part of my healing. Because when you live with a chronic illness that doesn't have a cure, it becomes very easy for that to be all that you think about all the time, because things are always going wrong. And you almost get yourself into a cycle where you're almost like always waiting for the other shoe to drop. So even when things are good, you never quite feel good because there is an energy or a vibration of fear that is always kind of lingering underneath the surface. And when you're in that mindset, it's really hard to feel rooted. It's hard to feel stable. And you could say that you want to get better, but if your fixation is on not doing well, not feeling well, and being worried that you might not feel well tomorrow, then guess what's happening in the moment? It's a lack of stability. It's a lack of security. It's increased fear. It's emotional instability. And all of that naturally feeds into the disease, because the more heightened your anxiety level, the more cortisol you're releasing in your body, and the increased likelihood that you're going to get sick. And it just goes around in cycle, just like trauma. It's like this kind of trauma response where you're just on the wheel of drama, and it's a never ending cycle. I decided to get off of that wheel and ground myself into this new energetic space where I feel a lot more peace, stability, and acceptance. So I am no longer fighting with lupus. I am no longer the victim of lupus, even. I am simply doing all the things that I can do to keep myself as stable and as grounded as possible, keep my energetic field clean, practice good spiritual hygiene, good emotional hygiene, good stress management, and a lot of that has had very positive ramification for my overall well-being. So let me know in a comment box below, have you ever tried meditation? Is that something that you're interested in? I want to talk some more about that on this channel because it is a big part of my life. If I'm being honest, I'm actually a little obsessed with meditation, and I have been for many, many years. And I actually listen to meditation podcasts. Um, so I don't just meditate, I also listen to other people talk about their meditation habits, because I love it so much. I've been a little reticent to talk about it on this channel. But then I thought, you know what? If there are other people out there that are struggling and they're looking for another slice of the pie to add to their healing, this might not be a bad thing to introduce. As you know, a lot of chronic illness is rooted in trauma, and lots of trauma. People who have suffered a lot of trauma tend to be more more tend to be more likely to suffer with chronic illness. So being able to kind of calm the mind and relax the body and minimize stress, change how we respond to stress is a big part of that. So for me, making that the focus of my healing has had tremendous, tremendous results in my life. And my most favorite thing about meditation that I want to share with you is that it has kind of widen the gap for me between things happening and my reaction to them. So when you become very much into meditation, where it's a part of your daily ritual and whatnot, what happens is that your brain has a way of slowing down when you feel stress. So before, when I would feel stress, I would jump into action because remember, it used to juice me up, right? But now when I feel stress, I actually slow down to like examine it from like this point of view and decide whether it warrants my attention, number one, and if so, what kind of attention does it warrant, and when does it warrant that attention. So I ask myself subsequent questions before I get to the action part, and that has done wonders for my mental health. So let me know in a comment box below if you're into meditation, you've ever tried it, what you think about it. I'm going to be talking some more about it. I'm going to be making another video about the scientific and medicinal benefits of meditation in general, because I want to definitely put that information out there. My recommendation, if you're new to this world, is to start with your root chakra until you feel that you have reduced your sense of fearfulness about life. Once you feel grounded and secure in your skin, in your life, in your body, then gradually move up to the next one and keep working until you get, obviously, to your crown chakra. So that's all I have for today. I can't wait to read all that you guys have to say about this topic. I'm very, very passionate about this, as you can tell. So hopefully I'll get to connect with some of you guys out there that are also into this kind of content. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel for videos every Monday evenings. You can shop my pre-love and vintage designer items at styledunder.com. If you're into fashion, connect with me on Instagram at styleunder25. And you can also follow my Facebook account at styledunder. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Au revoir.